In a nation divided where shadows of the past loom larger than ever, Donald Trump emerges not just as a politician, but as a figure reminiscent of Thanos, the Mad Titan. His vision for America, a land of perceived purity, is a twisted reflection of a world that once was. A world he believes must be restored through a ruthless purge. He sits in the Oval Office, encased in an aura of triumph, a sinister smile playing on his lips as he devises his plan to reclaim what he sees as the rightful heritage of America. His first move is to target the millions of undocumented migrants who have sought refuge in a land that once promised hope. With a cold resolve, he envisions a mass exodus, a sweeping wave that would send these intruders back to their homelands. To him, this is not merely a policy, it is a necessary act of cosmic balance, reminiscent of Thanos' own philosophy of culling the weak to restore order. The metaphorical gauntlet on his hand is filled with the stones of power, fear, division, and hatred, each representing a step toward an America cleansed of its perceived impurities. Yet, as he embarks on this path, Trump's gaze shifts toward those who have walked the tightrope of legality. He plots to strip citizenship from those who navigated the labyrinthine immigration system, an act that mirrors the historical injustices faced by the original inhabitants of the land. This reflects a deeper allegory of erasure, a reminder that history often forgets the stories of those who were here first, their narratives overshadowed by the relentless march of colonization. As he revels in his plans, the shadows lengthen around him, and a dark presence emerges from the depths, a manifestation of the collective anguish and resistance of those he seeks to subjugate. This figure, shrouded in darkness and wielding chains of fire and brimstone, serves as a warning, a representation of the consequences of unchecked power and hubris. It echoes the struggles of marginalized communities, particularly the Black population, who have endured centuries of oppression and violence. In response to Trump's machinations, a community rises, galvanized by the threats against their existence. They transform their pain into resilience, building a metaphorical trap house, a stronghold of unity and defiance against the encroaching darkness. This space becomes a symbol of their struggle, a sanctuary where they prepare to burn the chains of oppression that threaten to bind them. The flames of resistance flicker in the hearts of those who refuse to be silenced, illuminating the path toward liberation. As Trump sits comfortably in his office, he underestimates the strength of those he seeks to diminish. In his arrogance, he believes he has neutralized the threat, failing to recognize that the spirit of resistance is far more powerful than he can comprehend. Each act of destruction he associates with them is but a reflection of the chaos he himself has sown, a cycle of brutality that feeds on ignorance and fear. The story unfolds against the backdrop of a nation struggling with its identity, grappling with the ghosts of its past while forging a path toward a more equitable future. In this allegory, Trump's quest for a white America is not just a political agenda. It is a battle against the very essence of humanity, a conflict that will ultimately reveal the strength of those who stand united against tyranny. The darkness may loom, but the light of resistance will always find a way to shine through. As the narrative deepens, the tension between Trump and the communities he seeks to oppress escalates. His administration, increasingly authoritarian in nature, mirrors the tyrannical rule of Thanos, a figure who believes that sacrifice is necessary for the greater good. Trump's proclamations resonate across the airwaves, rallying his followers with promises of a restored America, one that erases the multicultural tapestry woven by generations. This rhetoric is laden with symbolism, portraying immigrants as the villains in a narrative that glorifies a mythical, homogeneous past. Yet, beneath the surface of this manufactured unity, cracks begin to appear. The resistance, fueled by an unyielding spirit, grows in strength and numbers. Community leaders emerge, voices that echo the wisdom of ancestors long silenced. They remind their people of the power of unity and the importance of embracing their identities. This movement coalesces into a vibrant tapestry, rich with diversity, artistry, and shared histories, the very fabric that Trump seeks to unravel. In this story, the trap house transforms into a cultural hub, a place of gathering where stories are shared, art flourishes, and plans for resistance are forged. It becomes a beacon of hope in a landscape marred by fear. The community organizes protests, rallies, and educational workshops, reclaiming their narrative. They harness the power of social media, creating a digital battlefield where they counter Trump's propaganda with their own truths. Each post, each tweet, each video serves as a reminder that their voices cannot be silenced, and their presence in this land is as valid as any other. Meanwhile, Trump, emboldened by his perceived victories, grows increasingly detached from reality. In his isolation, he conjures visions of a utopia built on exclusion, unaware that his actions are sowing the seeds of rebellion. The dark figure that lurks behind him, the embodiment of the consequences of his actions, begins to manifest more boldly. It whispers warnings of the chaos that follows tyranny, reminding him that the chains forged in hatred will eventually bind the oppressor as well. As the community rallies, they craft their own symbols, flags, murals, and songs, each representing their struggle and resilience. They share stories of ancestors who fought against colonization, drawing strength from their legacy. This cultural renaissance serves as a direct counter to Trump's narrative, illustrating that their existence is not one of destruction, but of survival and creativity. In moments of confrontation, the flames of the trap house rise high, symbolizing the burning away of ignorance and hatred. The community stands united, embodying the metaphorical phoenix rising from the ashes of oppression. They understand that their battle is not just against a man, but against a system that has long perpetuated injustice. As the story unfolds, the clash of ideologies intensifies. Trump's followers, blinded by their loyalty, begin to question the morality of his actions as they witness the resilience of those they once deemed inferior. The community's spirit becomes contagious, sparking conversations across the nation about identity, justice, and the meaning of true patriotism. Ultimately, this tale serves as a reminder that the fight for a just society is ongoing. The struggle against tyranny, whether in the form of a political leader or a systemic injustice, requires not only courage, but also unwavering solidarity. In this allegorical narrative, the battle between Trump and the communities he seeks to erase is not merely a political confrontation, it is a profound struggle for the soul of a nation, one that will define its legacy for generations to come. As the shadows loom larger, the light of resistance shines brighter, illuminating the path toward a future where diversity is not just accepted, but celebrated, a future where every voice contributes to the chorus of a truly united America. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes clear that the struggle against oppression is not merely a localized battle. It resonates across the nation, inspiring a collective awakening. Communities that once felt isolated begin to connect, forming alliances that transcend racial, ethnic, and cultural boundaries. The resistance movement evolves into a broad coalition, united in its diversity, with each group bringing its unique history and perspective to the fight. In urban centers, grassroots organizations emerge, mobilizing resources to educate and empower marginalized populations. Workshops on civic engagement, legal rights, and the history of resistance foster a sense of agency among individuals who have long felt voiceless. The arts become a powerful tool in this movement. Murals depicting the struggles and triumphs of marginalized communities adorn city walls, while poets and musicians use their craft to tell stories of resilience and hope. This cultural renaissance not only uplifts spirits, but also serves as a counter-narrative to the fear-driven rhetoric propagated by Trump's administration. As Trump continues to push his agenda of exclusion, his actions increasingly alienate segments of the population who once supported him. The dark figure behind him, a representation of his own hubris and the consequences of his policies, grows more pronounced. It manifests as a haunting reminder of the chaos he is unleashing, a specter that whispers of the societal fractures and unrest that follow in the wake of his divisive policies. The media, once a tool for Trump's propaganda, begins to shift. Journalists and activists collaborate to uncover and expose the truth behind the administration's actions. Investigative reports highlight the human stories behind the statistics. Families torn apart, communities devastated, and lives lost in the wake of draconian immigration policies. This shift in narrative serves to humanize the struggle, reminding the public that behind every headline is a face, a story, a life worth fighting for. In the wake of this awakening, the trap house becomes a symbol of resistance, not just locally, but nationally. It hosts gatherings where people from all walks of life come together to strategize, share resources, and build solidarity. They recognize that their fates are intertwined. The fight against injustice is a shared struggle. In these moments, they create a tapestry of unity, woven from threads of hope, courage, and determination. As the movement gains momentum, Trump responds with increased aggression, attempting to stifle dissent through intimidation and fear tactics. He rallies his base, framing the resistance as a threat to national security, invoking an us versus them mentality. This strategy, however, backfires as more individuals begin to question the morality of his actions. The public confronts the contradictions in his messaging. How can one claim to make America great again while simultaneously excluding vast swaths of its population? In the face of mounting opposition, the community leaders rise to prominence, becoming beacons of hope and inspiration. They speak not only of resistance but of vision, a vision for an America that embraces its diversity, where every individual's worth is acknowledged and celebrated. They articulate a narrative of inclusion that resonates with many who feel disillusioned by the current political climate. The climax of this storyline arrives when the resistance organizes a massive march, a powerful demonstration of solidarity that captures the attention of the nation. Thousands gather, united under the banners of justice, equality, and compassion. As they march, they chant slogans that echo through the streets, their voices rising in unison, drowning out the hate that has sought to divide them. In this moment, the dark figure behind Trump begins to waver, as if the collective power of the people's voices has the ability to disrupt the cycle of tyranny. The energy of the march reverberates through the corridors of power, instilling fear in those who have long upheld the status quo. The movement's message is clear. They will not be silenced, nor will they accept a future dictated by hate and fear. As the march culminates, the participants gather in a central public space, transforming it into a vibrant celebration of culture and community. Music, dance, and art fill the air, creating a powerful juxtaposition against the backdrop of the oppressive regime. This celebration of life and unity serves as a reminder that the struggle for justice is not merely about resistance. It is also about embracing the beauty of diversity that makes America truly great. In the aftermath of this pivotal moment, the resistance continues to grow with renewed vigor and determination. The story weaves through the complexities of human experience, pain and joy, fear and hope, division and unity, ultimately portraying the resilience of the human spirit. The battle against oppression is far from over, but the light of resistance shines ever brighter, illuminating a path toward a future where justice, equality, and compassion prevail. The narrative closes with a sense of possibility. The tide is turning, and the voices of the many are beginning to drown out the echoes of tyranny. As the community stands together, they know that their fight is not just for their own rights, but for the soul of the nation. A struggle that will continue until justice is realized for all. In this allegorical tale, the enduring spirit of resistance serves as a testament to the power of unity, hope, and the relentless pursuit of a more just society. As the movement continues to gather momentum, the community's resilience becomes a powerful force that challenges the very foundations of Trump's regime. The march, now a defining moment in the struggle, ignites a series of actions across the country. Inspired by the spirit of unity, protests erupt in cities large and small, each one a microcosm of hope and defiance. People from all walks of life take to the streets, wearing symbols of solidarity, colors that represent their diverse backgrounds, flags that celebrate their heritage, and signs that proclaim messages of love and justice. In the wake of this awakening, the narrative expands beyond the borders of the United States. Internationally, the world watches as the resistance unfolds. Supporters from across the globe send messages of solidarity, sharing their own stories of struggle against oppression and tyranny. The community becomes part of a global tapestry of resistance, interconnected through shared values of justice, equality, and human rights. This international support serves to amplify their message, creating a chorus that resonates far beyond the confines of their own nation. In the heart of the movement, community leaders emerge as figures of inspiration. They speak not only of resistance, but of a transformative vision for the future, a vision that seeks to heal the wounds of the past and build bridges rather than walls. They articulate a new narrative that emphasizes the importance of listening to marginalized voices, acknowledging historical injustices, and creating spaces for dialogue and understanding. This shift in narrative becomes a powerful tool, reframing the struggle not as a conflict, but as a collective journey toward healing and reconciliation. The dark figure that looms behind Trump begins to take on new significance. It transforms from a mere symbol of oppression into a representation of the consequences of unchecked power. As the resistance gains traction, this figure becomes increasingly restless, embodying the chaos that follows in the wake of tyranny. It serves as a reminder that the fight against oppression is not only about confronting the individual in power, but also about dismantling the systems that enable such power to thrive. In a pivotal moment, the community organizes a series of dialogues, inviting individuals from various backgrounds, including those who once supported Trump, to engage in meaningful conversations. These gatherings become spaces for vulnerability and honesty, allowing participants to share their fears, hopes, and aspirations. They explore the complexities of identity and privilege, recognizing that true unity can only be achieved through understanding and empathy. This act of bridge building becomes a cornerstone of the movement, illustrating that the path to justice is paved with compassion and connection. As the resistance evolves, so does Trump's response. Faced with mounting pressure and growing dissent, he doubles down on his rhetoric, attempting to vilify the movement. He frames the protests as chaotic riots, projecting an image of fear to rally his base. Yet, the more he tries to suppress dissent, the more the movement grows. The community's strength lies in its unwavering commitment to nonviolence and solidarity, a stark contrast to the chaos that Trump tries to associate with their actions. In a climactic showdown, the movement organizes a massive rally at the steps of the Capitol, symbolizing both a demand for accountability and a vision for a new America. Thousands gather, their voices rising in harmony, echoing the sentiment that the nation belongs to all its people. The rally becomes a transformative moment, a gathering of hearts and minds united in a common purpose. Trump, feeling the weight of the resistance, attempts to discredit the movement through misinformation and fear tactics. However, the community remains undeterred, rallying around their shared values. They turn to the power of storytelling, sharing personal narratives that humanize their struggle and challenge the prevailing. We are the resistance collectively.